Greetings. Welcome back to Moonshrine Delight. I am your oracle and I'm so grateful to be here. It's been such a long time since I've connected with you all in the collective energies in a public way. I'm obviously connected to them very personally and navigating them just as much as you all are. So I pray that you are doing well and that you are joining me here for some insight and some support on your journey. We are going to jump right in. I'm going to ring the singing bowl real quick, and then we will roll the dice and get started. Okay. I do have a little Ricola in my mouth, so forgive me if I'm chomping a little bit, if you feel me. All right, so let's get started. All right, so we're going to roll the dice and get some angel numbers and some archetypal messages and see what's here for us. It's always fun to roll the dice on camera. So we have here, this is a number 9 as our archetype. We have the soul star chakra. We have an 80% chance that the outcome is going to be positive for whatever situations we may be finding out about. We have a hold up 1 second, wait 1 minute here. Somebody putting that finger up about something, and it seems like that may work out in your favor. Our angel numbers here, we have 5, 4, and 2. So any combination of those numbers could be beneficial for you. Let's jump right in to seeing what archetype energy we have. We're going to use the chakra reading cards here because it seems like the soul star chakra is being activated with flexibility. Okay. So this is connecting our soul star chakra to our sacral chakra. We've called upon this card today to encourage us all to invite more flexibility into our world. The nature of life and our experiences are constantly inviting us to find a state of flexibility. When you can surrender to these messages, they will allow and embody a more flexible state of being. This will bring an abundance of ease and grace as you find yourself in the flow. Have you been feeling a little rigid in your thoughts or ideas lately? Maybe even a little stuck in your ways. If so, it's time to practice the art of flexibility. You may be holding on to something in your life a little too tightly, and now it's time to let it go and allow some new energy to flow in. It's easy to get caught up in trivial ideas and thoughts, especially if you have strong belief systems in place in your life. However, at this time, it will be beneficial and very healing to look at some of these outdated ways and beliefs that could be wreaking havoc in your world. Take some time to tune in and see what no longer serves you, and take the steps to bring about a little more flexibility. This is available to us now, and the affirmation says, I am free, flowing, and flexible. So the setup for our read tonight is going to be looking at masculine and feminine energies as a collective as well as within us individually. Okay. So as y'all know, I don't really do love readings. If you know me, you know I love love. But I also believe that all of our love relationships are a reflection of the relationship we have with ourselves. And so, how I choose to channel and how the Most High has chosen for me to channel is to see a little deeper than relationship status and what's happening in the relationship to what is actually happening within you that is being projected and or reflected into your relationships. And so obviously I had to do this work within myself. I don't do love readings because I don't have the best track record in love. There's the kicker, right? And so I am still working on self, balancing the masculine and feminine energies within myself and understanding what unconditional love looks like between those aspects so that it can be reflected and projected into my reality. So if you guys are on this self love and inner healing journey with me, then you might find comfort in these readings. So from the Moonshrine, we bring the tidings of the moon. Right now we are in a new moon energy, which is beautifully reflected here in our new beginnings card. Okay, so this is a new moon energy and it's helping to usher us into a new experience. Things may have seemed very cold and gray before, and we are now walking through that threshold to lush, green, abundant fields and new experiences. Okay, now this is representing the feminine aspect, and this is representing the masculine aspect. You could again see this as the dual aspects within yourself, or you can relate them as the messages apply to your relationships in other areas of your life. So, excuse me. The feminine energy right now is being supported by a fierce warrior goddess aspect of Kali. Okay, so this oracle here is reminding us that the divine feminine has a fierce aspect of her being that is being called on, activated, and utilized right now in order to give way to the new that is coming. We'll read the oracle cards at the end. For the masculine aspect, we have the energy is gaining momentum. Now, what that means is, excuse me, any of the things that we've been working on within that masculine healing is gaining momentum. Now, for myself, I can say that momentum is gaining around facing my shadows. Now, that's not easy for the masculine aspect, period, whether it's the masculine within yourself or masculine energies on the planet. Really looking in your own skeleton closet, acknowledging how those damn skeletons got there in the first place, what you need to do to clear out that closet by confronting those skeletons, those demons, and those shadow aspects so that you can actually move from this cold, dark, shadowy place. This forest here very much looks like what we're leaving. The feminine is leaving that behind. And the masculine aspect is having to really figure out what needs to be healed within and what needs to be confronted, those faceless ghosts of our past, so that we can ride that momentum into the next aspect of our journey. Okay. So for the feminine, I'm going to use the Deviant Moon Tarot. And right now, the feminine, while there is a new beginning, there's a lot of anxiety, concern, worry about whether this is actually happening. It may not be happening as fast as she would like, and kind of questioning whether this fierce, see how there's the connection of red here. We have this fierce aspect of Kali. We have the feminine wearing that cloak, right? Wearing that cloak of protection, but feeling concerned and worried that either it's going to bring up old demons from the past, or that it might block the transformation that the feminine believes that she is embarking on. So let's see what we can find out about the feminine situation. Okay. And also, okay. What is it going to take for the feminine to get to this new beginning? All right. Beautiful. So far, at the bottom of the deck, we have the Five of Pentacles. Okay. So right now, the current feeling, overall circumstance that the feminine energy is feeling is left out in the cold and abandoned, pushed out, watched. It's almost like the feminine feels like people are just watching her wander around aimlessly in the world without truly offering any support. And really and truly, all she wants to do is collaborate with people and build celebratory, vibes around everything that she's doing. So the current situation, although it's making the feminine feel left out, it's also really pushing her towards working on building her own stable foundation. So we have the Eight of Pentacles here and the Four of Wands. And the feminine, as we can see here, has put on her craftsman outfit and is cultivating her own coins, her own pentacles, right? So instead of being stuck at the Five of Pentacles, she's here working with the Eight of Pentacles to stabilize her foundation and to build a strong family unit where there's balanced masculine and feminine energy within that home space, within that family dynamic, within the relationships that are being cultivated here. So in order for her to walk through that threshold, what we're seeing is charging towards all of those anxieties and concerns with a sense of determination and truth and tenacity to cut through all of the things that are blocking her mentally. So again, the feminine aspect was wearing this fierce cloak, and now she's riding in on the steed. So what's beautiful here is the ways in which the feminine aspect is pretty much flipping back and forth when necessary between her masculine and feminine energies. Okay. And that's part of what's bringing her this concern, because the feminine aspect is perceived to be one way. In that way can sometimes be acquiescent. It can be receptive rather than, proactive. And so because she's kind of going against the grain and showing up in a different way, not as a damsel in distress, but as, this knight riding in powerfully, it can be a little confusing for her to balance that out. I can definitely relate. So the final two cards here are the Page of Pentacles and the Lovers. And basically, the feminine is picking up energetic tokens along the way of material abundance. It could also be like wisdom, learning how to do things in her world. As we can see, the feminine aspect in the Page of Pentacles is using her tools, right? The things that are in her toolkit, as well as the things that are picked up along the way to help make appropriate decisions in the relationships and partnerships that are chosen, right? So with the Lovers card here, it's about making healthy choices between the light and the dark here, choosing when one must be, feminine, soft, and gentle, as opposed to aggressive, masculine, and a bit more strong. All right. So, and when I say aggressive, I mean assertive, right? Taking the initiative. So let's see here what is reflected on the masculine side of things. We are using the Santa Muerte Tarot. It's a new deck I'm excited to have. For the masculine, what is going on with the masculine energy? Okay. And how can the masculine tap into the gaining momentum that's available? That's a lot. Let's see. It's a nice stack. We have Temperance at the bottom. So that is the masculine side of things, really learning how to fill their own cups, do the emotional work, really tap into what it means to transmute negative energy into positive, productive energy. Being able to recognize the necessary transformations and healings that were taking place so that one can move forward feeling emotionally stable and grounded in the transformation. So the current energy of the masculine, we have the King of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords. So while the feminine has the Knight of Swords with the Nine of Swords, the masculine side of things has the Knight of Pentacles with the Knight of Swords with the King of Pentacles. And what this is saying is, excuse me, while the masculine was in some ways pretending to be a big shot, pretending to have all of these resources and tools at their disposal, what the masculine energy is realizing is that holding on to these things in their chest, holding things close to the chest, is not really helping them to get to the emperor status, right? Because the emperor is all of the kings combined. And so with the Knight of Swords here, he's in this card, he's pretty much cutting his own toxic cords, if that makes sense. So while this one is ready to charge forward and cut away the negative thoughts and concerns and worries about how the feminine has to show up on this side, we have the masculine cutting away their own toxic behaviors that may have given them a grandiose appeal, but were really like hurting them in the long run. That makes sense. So also with this, in order for the masculine to walk through this dark, shadowy forest, confronting their own demons and utilize this momentum to their advantage, we have the Wheel of Fortune, the Two of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles, Justice, and Three of Wands. Okay, so the masculine side of things was clarified a little bit more in the sense that we have the Wheel of Fortune, Two of Wands, Knight of Pentacles, and Page of Pentacles. A lot of reflection here. Now remember, I said you could look at this as aspects within your own being, okay? So before I go any further, I just want to clarify some of the reflections that I see so far. The feminine aspect here is in the Eight of Pentacles, while the masculine side is in this King of Pentacles, right? So we have one side really working towards cultivating financial and material stability in one's life. And then we have this side kind of holding on to all the coins that they have and not being willing to, take chances and risks that an emperor might take, right? So big bank take little bank, is that what it is? So the feminine is realizing the ways that these things need to line up, okay? Not only for her own life, but for the people that are around her, because while she's working on these pentacles, other people are flaunting what they have, not helping anyone, hurting themselves in the long run. And also, the chest is not as full as you think it is. This dude is a skeleton carrying a chest of what's supposed to be pentacles, right? And if it were that light, then he might need his horse to carry it. So we can tell some of the pretense that's going on with the masculine energies within and around us. And because we're seeing those things show up in our reality, it's forcing us to look at that within ourselves too and say, okay, I don't know how I attracted this one into my life, right? But I know that if it's a reflection of myself, then I'm gonna have to cut this shit out, right? So we have the Knight of Swords here twice, okay? So the feminine is saying, all right, I need to cut out worrying and being concerned about being fierce and assertive about my life, about my coins, about building my stable foundation. And this side of things is saying that any ways that I've been putting up a front about how this is actually playing out in my life, it's time to cut all of that out and actually elevate into where this momentum is taking me, right? And I'm using that always. If you pay attention to how I speak, it's never a you versus me thing. It's a we, a us thing. We're all part of this. None of us are exempt. And if it hasn't happened yet, then it's coming, right? Because new beginnings are on the way and the energy is gaining momentum. So whether this is a now thing for you or not, the waves are flowing. So that's why we bring the tidings of the moon to let us know how those waves are being pulled and how we can sail those seas safely. All right, little tangent, but with the masculine seeking to grasp this momentum, we have the Wheel of Fortune and the Two of Wands. So what that means is the masculine energy has to be totally good with closing the door on those old skeletons, right? Using the scythe as the wheel turns to cut out things that are no longer serving the masculine, no longer a part of the masculine's frame of consciousness or frame of awareness. so that the Two of Wands allows us to focus on our future and the vision that we have for what we'd like to see manifest in our lives. So now that the wheel is turning, imagine being on a ship, since we were sailing the seas and the moon tidings are bringing in how to navigate those seas. If we were on a ship and the wheel gets spun, right? It gets spun. We don't know where it's going to stop, which direction the boat's going to end up in. But we know that we have to have some vision for how we want to move forward once that wheel stops turning, right? Now, although we can't control where the wheel stops and what things we have to confront once that happens, we know how we want to show up. We know who we want to be and what type of energy we want to carry with us as we come off of this ship and explore our new beginnings. Okay. With the Knight of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles, which is a reflection here, masculine and feminine energy, so beautiful that the masculine's Page of Pentacles, the feminine's Page of Pentacles showed up in a masculine form, and the masculine's Page of Pentacles showed up in a feminine form. Okay, so there's a lot of yin yang energy, a lot of balancing the scales within self, within the collective masculine and collective feminine. So Knight of Pentacles with the Page of Pentacles is saying it's okay to take your time as you come off the boat and see what it is that's confronting you. You can then carry on picking up new things along the way, new skills, new tools, new pentacles, right? So as long as we're prepared within our own being, then we can feel safe to move forward because slow and steady wins the race. Okay. And you know, this is life. We're not rushing through it. I hope you're not rushing through it, right? We want to enjoy it. We want to allow it to take its course. And along the way, we want to pick up all the little nuggets that we need that's going to help us to continue as the wheel turns. Okay. Because it's going to continue to turn. And that's why being flexible is hugely important. Ah, thank you, Spirit. So now it's coming full circle, like the wheel, coming full circle why we had the flexibility card, because what is being required of us is to assess things as we go and stay focused on our goal. So the last message we have here for the masculine is justice and the Three of Wands. Okay, so what that is saying is that when the wheel stops turning, justice will be served. Now, I'm just saying, if you are not prepared, we see which of these skeletons really walks off the boat, right? So we have the light and the dark there with the wheel turning, and then we have justice with the dark cloaked figure emerging. Okay, so what this is saying is right now the masculine in the shadow aspect is being forced to call justice on their own darkness and to use the information that they gain in this dark time to help solidify the vision and move forward even stronger than how things may have needed to turn out, right? So it's like accepting whatever, you know, consequences one must need to accept and taking that with a grain of salt because it needed to happen anyway, right? You needed to cut certain things. And so when you cut something, some get cut and that don't always feel good, but sometimes it's necessary in order for you to continue growing things in your garden personally. Okay, so this is exciting. Let us go to the oracle messages and then we shall wrap this up. Let's read from the Shadow of Oracle and Light. Where are you, book? And that card is number 34. So these faceless ones are coming to you, trying to take advantage of what they see as a moment of weakness. But do not fear them, because you know that they are blank, formless, and simply taking on an energy they can find. So you know that you're able to clearly see what is not seen by others. They are simply spirits who have lost their way, and so they feed off of others. You may not be at your strongest right now, masculine, but stronger than you ever will be. Not wishing harm on others is important, but it's also equally important not to give your energy away to them. Okay. And so what this closing message is saying for the masculine energy is, as you recognize your own toxic masculine traits that block you from your blessings and keep you away from high vibrational relationships and partnerships, in order to tap into this momentum, you have to be okay with cutting out energies that resonate and try to pull you back to that toxic masculine space. Okay. It's like being in that shadowy forest, making your way to the ship and having to confront all of these energies that are trying to get on the ship with you. And the masculine energy really has to cut out his Captain Save-A-Ho ways and really figure out what is necessary for the vision moving forward. And sometimes that means you have to turn the wheel and cut certain things out. It means sometimes in order to serve justice, you may have to wear what others may perceive as the black cloak. But in order for you to protect your vision, you have to be that. You have to do that. And sometimes you even have to do that within your own self. Thank you so much, Spirit. So now for the feminine, we have Kali, the Chamunda energy, number 30. It's actually number 31, and it was the underlying energy as I was meditating on the read, the first shuffle. Okay, so Chamunda energy, Kali. Her unerring instinct for spiritual protection arises spontaneously, even when we do not realize we need it. Sometimes we do not realize just how far we've come and how far we've become entangled in that which is not good for us. We do not realize that we need Kali's powerful intervention. Knowing what to allow and what to fight for or against requires freedom. Holding the space for an inner or outer conflict to be resolved involves discipline. Chamunda is the fearlessness, wisdom, patience, and discipline needed to conquer a difficult situation. Chamunda Kali is with you now. So this is beautiful because the masculine and feminine energies are somewhat aligned. Again, this balancing agent of patient, wisdom, discipline, and fierce capacity to help get through any situation is what's supporting on the masculine side here, right? The feminine energy is taking on a more masculine way of being. And then this masculine aspect here is allowing that to drive him forward in his own healing process. The feminine here is walking into new beginnings for how she needs to represent herself in this new space and time. And for the masculine, when it comes to using that fierce energy to heal and transmute oneself, that energy is gaining momentum. And so this is a really beautiful read. I hope this was helpful for you. Please reach out if you need a personal reading. Those are available. My website, bit.ly/moonshine delight. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.